The Broncos start the season on Sunday, and they got a major deal done just in the nick of time. See how I did that? We're going. Should we do this again, or are we live?
We're live.
Oh, we're still live. Let's do this again. Mike here. Audio helps when you're trying to do a video audio production. Anyway, Nik Bonitto has a new deal. We're going deep. All right, Nate, let's jump right into it.
Jump. I'm reposting this. I'm not texting. I'm reposting this show so we can have a lot of viewers who can follow along.
Okay. Listen, I just want to know, are you that guy that always has to be on your phone?
No, I'm not.
Like if you're watching a movie with your wife, will one of you be on your phone?
No, well, it depends at the theater or
no, at home.
No, we don't really watch movies. We watch cartoons, man.
Cartoons.
Our children.
Which one do the two of you like together? Ren and Stimpy?
Simpsons. That's a pretty good one. Yeah. I like the Simpsons. No, children's cartoons, you know. And by the time the kids go to bed, we're ready to sleep. We don't watch movies. Maybe someday we'll do that again.
Nik Bonitto.
Yes.
New deal. I had a feeling they would get it done before the start of the season.
FDR,
they did.
Right?
Say it again.
FDR.
Franklin Delano Roosevelt.
The New Deal, man. Come on.
Wow. Well, I didn't realize that Social Security and protecting banks was actually a part of this deal.
It is.
Okay.
It is.
With that, new deal for Nik Bonitto. It's an extension.
Yeah.
So now they have him for 5 years, but the extension is for 4 years. $106 million, breaking it down.
Is that all? I thought it was 120 with the incentives. Right?
With incentives.
Yeah.
Guaranteed money in theory as part of the contract.
Yeah.
So he has $70 million guaranteed. The contract breaks down to $26.5 million a year.
Okay.
But they have him for 5 years now. And just how excited is Nik Bonitto?
Nick.
That bottom buddy beat the odds. Yeah. I'm richer than I've ever been. I'm richer than I've ever been.
Denali, you foolishly bought when you signed your first contract.
Yeah, that was a practice squad contract, Eric. $43.50 a week, which was good money back then for a kid who played D3 football and was trying to make a roster.
Right.
What he'll make per week if he's making $30 million per season
with incentives.
No, that's like the 26 with incentives.
Yes.
He can get up to 30.
Yep.
Let's say he hits those incentives. He gets $30 million per season. That's divided up into 18 weeks plus the bye. So can you do that quick math? He's making over $1 million a week during the season. Pretty good money. He'll be able to buy a Denali, that's for sure.
He could buy a Denali dealership.
Yeah, he could buy a Denali a day.
Right. Did the Broncos
it wouldn't even bother him.
Did the Broncos get a team-friendly deal on this, as Bonitto now is making $26.5 million a year, not including the incentives? He's the 10th highest paid edge rusher in the league.
I think it's a fair deal for both parties. As close to their, to being one as there can be. I think Nik Bonitto is not your, Myles Garrett type of edge guy.
Right.
He is sort of a specialist in a way.
Yeah.
Still has something to prove as far as his run defense.
Right.
But came on like a demon last year. Right. And I think what makes Nik Bonitto special to me, it's his pass rush ability, yes, but it's his ability to make big plays in big moments.
Right.
He rises to that moment. He has a nose for the football in that moment. He had a pick six and a fumble return on the double pass return for a touchdown, and some very big strip sacks in big critical moments. Those moments can swing games and lead to a team making the playoffs. Nik Bonitto, not just a 13.5 sack guy, but a guy who rises to the moment and makes the big play that a team needs to make a win.
You certainly don't judge a player after his first year. At least I don't believe that you should.
Why are you so high on Bo Nix? Hey! New deal.
Right.
FDR.
Bonitto was a second-round pick, but he was their first pick in that particular draft. You would never call a second-round pick a bust, ever.
Huh.
But I think it would be fair to say after his first year, you would say, being the Broncos' first pick of that draft, being a second-round pick, he was a disappointment after his first year. Now, clearly, he is playing really, really good football. Project out, knowing this deal, where you think he will be 5 years from now.
Yeah, 1 sack that first year.
Right.
4 his second year. Last year was really that explosion, 13.5 sacks.
Yeah.
And prior to last year, the Broncos had not had a 10-sack guy since 2018. So they're finally feasting.
Right.
And you got to offer some context to his numbers. Inside, Zach Allen, right? Those guys inside of him playing at a very high level,
Right.
eating up the interior offensive linemen so
Right.
Nik Bonitto can work on the outside. They're going to be ready for Nik Bonitto in a way they weren't in the past now. So there's going to be some gaming happening on the edges there.
Right.
A running back chip, a tight end chipping, right? Sliding protection his way to give that tackle some help. I think that he'll always be in a double-digit sack category with the ability to get up to close to 20.
Other teams can game plan if they want to, more for Nik Bonitto, but they better account for the guy who's standing in front of him, who is Zach Allen.
Right.
Just like with Von Miller, it was Derek Wolfe in front of him.
Yeah. And, I mean, the whole defensive line is really stout, and that really helps the guys on the edge. And guess what? The guys on the edge benefit from really good secondary play,
Right.
Because there's nowhere to throw the ball, and all of a sudden the quarterback hitches, and now he's gobbled up. This defense's prowess from top to bottom allowed Nik Bonitto to have the season he did. Now, like I just said, he took advantage of those opportunities in ways that defensive players don't typically.
Right.
Attacking the ball. He's a guy who can drop into coverage. I mean, that pick six he had, he dropped into coverage and stepped in front of a pass. Myles Garrett can't do that. TJ Watt can't do that. Those guys who are making more, even Micah Parsons doesn't really display that ability. He's an attacker. Nik Bonitto's an athlete and can do stuff all over the field.
Where is he, in your mind, setting the edge? I think that Cooper is better at setting the edge than Bonitto is, but Bonitto still has some more room to grow.
Yeah.
I think he is better in pass coverage than he is at setting the edge, but how do you project him there?
Yes, certainly is his weakness.
Yeah.
And so, teams know that. And it's basically because of size.
Yeah.
I mean, his size, he's not a big dude. So it's hard for him to set the edge on a tackle who outweighs him by almost 100 pounds. Right. So that is what he's going to have to continue to work on. His pass rush will always be dynamic. He'll always be able to get around a tackle. But when the tackle attacks him and he's got to set the edge and can't, avoid him, and he's got to be stout, that's what he's going to have to work on. You get in the weight room, you try to add some pounds, you get smarter, your leverage gets better, your technique gets better, your understanding of the defense gets more advanced, and so you're able to do that better. But they will continue to, I think they'll attack him, and I think that's what's going to be the Tennessee Titans' plan, is to run the ball at Nik Bonitto and not give him opportunities to attack his quarterback.
This episode brought to you by Landmark Lincoln and the brand new Lincoln Navigator, next level luxury. You got to go for a test drive today. You can find Landmark Lincoln in Inglewood, right off of Broadway, or go to landmarklincoln.com. Let's hop into the game on Sunday.
What's up?
Jeffrey Simmons is one of the best interior linemen in football. He is a 2-time second-team All-Pro, and I was stunned to hear what he had to say. After I believe he watched tape on Bo Nix. And I put that word, I believe he watched tape on Bo Nix, because if he did, and this is his assessment, I'm feeling pretty good about the Broncos offense going into this game.
Wow.
What he said was, if Bo Nix's first read is not there, he's going to take off running. Sean Payton was asked that question at yesterday's press conference about what Simmons said. And Sean Payton responded by saying, I would disagree that he's first read and just take off. He goes, I know that for a fact. What does it say?
I know that for a fact.
Well, he does. And you and I know that for a fact.
I think
he doesn't go for a run when his first read isn't there.
Did you watch last season's games?
As the games went along, he went through his progressions. Yes.
Okay.
Why do you believe he was first read and did go for a dash?
I think that's a little hyperbolic by Jeffrey Simmons there to distill it down to that sort of critique. But discerning football minds who know the position and watched Bo Nix last year agreed that he bailed from the pocket too early at times. He didn't step up slide in the pocket and find. You can say what you want.
No, I'm saying.
Why do you think he rushed for almost 500 yards?
I'm saying that just because a guy is mobile and just because a guy slides out of the pocket doesn't mean that when his first read isn't there, he runs. That's not the case.
Look, he was a rookie last year. Okay.
Right.
He's not going to be perfect. The part of his game that needed to improve was exactly what Jeffrey Simmons is talking about.
Yep.
Getting through your progressions while staying in the pocket and not bailing out. Because when you bail out and start running, guess what? You're very vulnerable out there. You got a bunch of killers coming for you, Eric. They want to hurt you. They want to send you out of the game. Jeffrey Simmons would love nothing more than to land on top of Bo Nix from the back as he's running for the sidelines. And so, yes, Bo Nix does have to improve that part of his game. And that's what happens as you move along in this league and get more experience, because you know what you're seeing more. You're used to the way the defense is unfolding, and your internal clock, like the one that's ticking on your in your mind right now to move on to the next question.
No, I'm not. I'm listening.
Why
to
are
what
you
you
looking
have
at
to
your
say.
papers? So,
well, you can run the show if you want to. You want to do all these?
Yeah, sure.
Go ahead. Okay, now you're driving the show.
Okay,
something I know you feel
whole
comfortable
milk, eggs, whiskey. What else is on this grocery list?
Nothing.
Tampons.
Whiskey and eggs.
Is it that type of?
Those were for you.
Oh, thank you. Man.
Yes.
Well, I use pads actually. So
why are you giving that back? You sure don't want to run the show?
No.
So keep going.
So you have the internal clock. And his internal clock gets more refined each year he goes. Anybody you talk to that's watching him discerningly, and not because they're wearing a Bo Nix jersey or they're state-run media and want to just say everything he does is perfect.
I'm not saying that.
I'm not saying you are. But there are some who do. And there are some who will listen to me saying this and be like, hater, Bo Nix, hater. No, Bo knows. And Sean Payton wants him to stay more in the pocket. I don't think he wants his quarterback to be bailing out and running. I wouldn't. Yeah, you use that in moments where you need it. But I think the longer you go in this league, the more you realize that staying in the pocket is your friend, and Bo will do that better as he goes.
Well, I'll bring up a perfect example of a game that you played in, but obviously you didn't play against Ben Roethlisberger. Ben Roethlisberger was mobile in the pocket, but he was far from a running quarterback.
Right.
I mean, he slid all over the place in that 2005 championship game. I am not suggesting that Bo Nix is like Ben Roethlisberger. Ben Roethlisberger didn't run, but just because sometimes you have to slide if the protection breaks down, don't you?
Slide?
Yeah.
That's not what Jeffrey Simmons is talking about.
No,
he's talking about running out and running away. Sliding is much different because you slide and you're still progressing. You're still going through your reads. You still have 5 eligible receivers that you're checking with. He's saying one is not there and he's out. That's what Jeffrey Simmons said.
Do you believe that? Is that what you saw last year?
Wait.
He would stare down a guy. If he's not available, bang, he goes running?
I just said that Jeffrey Simmons' critique was hyperbolic. That was not accurate to me. But Bo does need to stay in the pocket more.
Yeah.
And he knows that. And Sean Payton knows that. No, he's not doing one read and leaving.
Right.
But he was a little anxious to get out of the pocket last year in ways that I think you'll see him improve upon this year.
Well, I hope that Jeffrey Simmons, what he believes, whether it's hyperbolic or not, I hope that's what the Titans defensive coordinator believes. Go ahead, throw a spy on Bo Nix. Waste a guy watching what this guy is going to do.
Okay. I mean, look, they're going to try some different stuff.
Of course.
If they can, and if Bo Nix does do that, and there's a guy who comes like a missile and hits Bo behind the line of scrimmage and hits him hard.
But that's not what a spy is. A spy is waiting for a guy to run.
Right. And then attacks him, and he's faster than him. So he goes and hits him.
Yeah, but he's just hanging around. So now you're really playing against 10 guys.
Okay.
Aren't you?
In theory, they do that with Lamar.
Of course they do, because he's a running quarterback.
Right. And Bo last year was a running quarterback too.
Not the same level as Lamar.
He was the 5th leading quarterback rusher in the league. I would say that that's putting him in that territory.
Well, one guy ran for 430 yards,
right?
And Lamar Jackson runs to close for 1,000.
Right, but he's at the top of that heap. Right.
And then you have Jaden Daniels as well.
Right.
Then you have Kyler Murray.
Right.
Just because you're 5th on the list doesn't mean you're way down on that list.
No, you're not way down on the list. He's 5th, which is not way down.
Are we going to really go back and forth on this? If two guys are...
I don't know what you're arguing here. Are you saying that Bo didn't bail out of the pocket early sometimes last year?
Of course he did.
Okay.
But that doesn't mean if his first read isn't there, he's gone.
I agree with that. I don't think that.
Kurt Warner, former NFL quarterback, Hall of Fame quarterback, was interviewed by Troy Rank of the Denver Post.
Troy, shout out Troy Rank.
And he said the Broncos are not a Super Bowl contender.
Ooh.
And this is his reason
cold water
why.
on that idea, huh?
I think a lot of people are really high on the Broncos or trying to pour that cold water.
Yeah.
But this is what he had to say. The biggest question is the run game and being more consistent on the outside with a weapon in the passing game. They never had that guy in the run game.
Mm-hmm.
I know they have added something to that. And on the outside, I love Courtland Sutton, but you have to find at least one other player that can be a go-to guy.
Yeah.
Do you agree with that assessment that they have to have a guy emerge to be a strong second option for the Broncos to be serious Super Bowl contenders just by looking at the offense alone?
I think they all got to emerge as strong second options. And so that the pace of the game and the way that it's dictated through the flow of the game will allow any of these guys to be a crucial playmaker in a crucial moment. Marvin Mims is a much different player from Pat Bryant, or Troy Franklin even. And then you got Evan Ingram, who's going to have a pretty big role in this offense. But he's never been a red zone guy. He doesn't have a lot of touchdowns.
Ingram, no.
Exactly.
That's what you're talking about.
And so it's Courtland. But who's the other red zone guy? It could be Devon. Devon Bailey's gone.
Pat Brown would be more than fun.
Well, he's a rookie, right? He's a rookie. And he's going to be back there. He's going to be back on the depth chart.
By the way, what happened to the Devon Bailey clone, Tim Patrick? Where's he working these days?
Jacksonville.
Oh, that
traded.
That should be fun.
Oh, yeah. Well, he almost made it to the Super Bowl last year and was an integral part of that offense.
Integral.
I didn't say integral.
Integral.
No, integral.
He was?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You don't think so? Did you watch Lions games?
I watched a lot of them because I bet on a lot of them.
Okay. Tim Patrick was a big part of that team.
A big part.
Oh, come on, man. Eric, you get caught up in the stats. You really get caught up in the stats here. It's a player's contribution to his team is not based on the numbers that end up on the paper at the end of it. Tim Patrick was an important part of that team. That's why he ended up there. That's why he made the team after 3 years not playing. That's why he ended up having valuable minutes and being on the field in 2-minute drives to win the games and making crucial catches. Yes, he did do that.
So why
did he have 100 catches?
Why didn't the Lions want him back?
They traded him.
Because they didn't want him.
Okay.
The Broncos traded Vele because they had better options.
Okay.
Right.
Look,
they traded Patrick.
Look, Jerry Jeudy's thriving, right?
No, I wouldn't say thriving.
He made the Pro Bowl last year.
Oh, God.
Did he?
No. Well, whether he did or not, he's not a guy I'd want on my team.
I agree, but what I'm saying is to poo-poo these guys as they go and act like they couldn't have contributed. It's a system thing, right? Bo Nix has to find that guy, to your point, that he trusts in those moments that's not named Courtland Sutton.
So who do you think that guy will be?
I don't know.
I think it'll be Ingram. Not in the end zone necessarily, but I think he's going to have enough mismatches where he's wide open over the middle.
Well, he's not taking anybody by surprise, put it that way.
No.
Evan Ingram's not going to have a ton. I mean, he does have mismatches because of his skill set at tight end. But the teams are going to be ready for Evan Ingram. They're going to be ready for Evan Ingram and Courtland Sutton. Everyone else, beat us with those guys. Beat us with Marvin Mims, they're going to say. Beat us with Pat Bryant. Beat us with Troy Franklin. And you mentioned the running game. That has to get better if they're going to be Super Bowl contenders.
So when you say beat us with Mims and Franklin, well, be careful what you ask for.
I agree.
If you don't want to give safety help.
Oh, I agree. I think it's great. It's a great challenge for those guys, and
Yeah.
it's going to create some amazing opportunities for them to find single coverage and take the top off of defense. And Troy Franklin's going to have, I think, some big plays this year. Marvin Mims is going to have some big plays down the field because the focus will be on Evan Ingram and Courtland Sutton.
When you look at the best quarterbacks of all time, when you look at the best quarterbacks playing today, let's just use Mahomes and Allen as our example. They do a lot of things really well, but kind of like the Nikola Jokic effect, making teammates around you better.
Yeah.
Is Nix at that level yet? And do you project him to be at that level at some point?
I would say that he absolutely will get to that level. And that comes with an understanding of the offense, an understanding of NFL defenses, a familiarity with your own coach, what he's asking, the players around you. That's just something that takes time. But I think that he has the mind, the temperament, the work ethic, and the skill set to get there, but it doesn't happen overnight. This is not something where you come into the league ready to do all that stuff. I mean, Bo Nix talked about it this offseason or even in training camp about how last year he was just trying not to screw up. I just don't want to fuck this up.
Yep.
He didn't know where to go eat lunch. He didn't know where to go, who to talk to put, that kind of stuff. Now he knows what to expect, and every little moment where you learn more about your job gives you better opportunity to help others around you.
You and I have had this conversation many times about when you look at a quarterback, what, and I put this in air quotes, makes them great. Is it Super Bowl titles? Is it stats? That's the runway I'm going to give you. Those two things are usually the two big things that are brought up. Is that fair to say? How many Super Bowls have you won? And what does your stat line look like? Okay.
Sure.
How come we don't talk more about a quarterback's value in making the teammates around him better?
Well, I think that's a residual of the first two things you mentioned. I mean, if you're going to go win a Super Bowl, everyone's got to be playing well. And why is everyone playing well? Well, if they're the old man in the room is the quarterback who's allowing everyone to understand their job better, to be more accountable, to be in the right places, to paint the picture for him in a way that makes them more effective.
Right.
Then that reflects well on the quarterback. The quarterback gets credit for that in a way.
Right.
You know what I mean? But you got to have been doing it for long enough to understand what everyone's job actually is. And that takes a while. I mean, because when you're a young player, you're memorizing what you got to do. What do I have to do on this play so I don't get yelled at?
Right.
So I don't screw this up. And Bo talked about that. And every other player feels it. I would step to the line of scrimmage, as a young player. Solely focused on my job and what I got to do. And so I'm looking at the guy ahead of me and what his coverage is and how that dictates my route and how that affects it. The longer you play, the more that widens, the lens widens. But I was not playing a position in which I had to talk to guys. I'm not in that. I'm not the leader of the huddle. The quarterback is unique in that he's the guy talking. He's the guy putting in guys in position. So the more he learns, the better he gets.
I want to go back to Jokic. He has gotten guys paid.
Oh, yeah.
Jeremy Grant is a perfect example. Came to the Nuggets.
Yeah.
Wound up going to Detroit. Dude got paid.
Bruce Brown
got paid. Now let's go back to, football for the sake of argument. Wes Welker wasn't much when he was with the Miami Dolphins, but then he went to play with Tom Brady. Dude got paid.
He had a pretty good he was playing well with the Dolphins.
He was fair.
Yeah.
He was okay.
Yeah.
But his career took off when he started playing with Tom Brady. I don't even know if Julian Edelman is in the league if he doesn't play with Tom Brady, because he wasn't highly sought after when he came out of college. My point is, do you think Knicks can do for other wide receivers like Manning did for Demaryius Thomas? I've told you this story before on air. Demaryius Thomas said to me, he goes, my career would be nothing without Peyton Manning.
Yep.
Do you think Knicks can do that for other guys moving forward, where guys are getting paid because Knicks is so good?
Yes, but he has to continue to build on the success, and the nucleus has to stay the same, and Sean Payton's got to stay around. The Broncos have to keep winning, right?
Right.
If you go through a bunch of coaching changes and guys shuffle in and shuffle out, and you don't pay your homegrown dues and they take off and things like that, then your power as a quarterback sort of is diminished. The more sameness, the more familiarity you have with the system, and the more simpatico you are with ownership and coaching, then the more ability you have to do that, and to maybe, Bo can go up and talk with Sean about what we're going to do and these guys that he likes. And
you almost broke into a Sean impersonation, didn't you?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, you did.
Relative to
See what I mean?
Yeah. But no, I see Bo as that guy because, he handles himself with class. He takes it on the chin. He steps in front. He stands in front of the media and says that's on me. He says the right things. He works his ass off. He wants to be one of the guys.
Yep.
To me, that is the indicator that this guy could be a special quarterback. The skill set's there. The arm strength is there.
Right.
Even though there were some pundits who said he lacked the arm strength to be a quality quarterback in the NFL. And they were wrong about that. Everyone who doubted his arm strength was wrong.
Yep.
Everyone who said that his short passing prowess was going to be a problem in the NFL. That was wrong because the NFL is short passing. That's what you do. The best teams in the NFL are the best short passers. The intermediate stuff unfolds because the short passing stuff works. The long bombs work because the short passes work. And he can throw every throw on the field. And for all those reasons, I think Bo can be that guy. But a lot has to go right for him.
Again, I want to tell you that this show brought to you by Landmark Lincoln in Englewood. And go take the 2025 Landmark Lincoln for Lincoln Navigator for a test drive today.
Do it.
You're going to get behind the wheel of that car. You're going to sink into the driver's seat. Man, this thing is luxurious. Then you're going to hit the gas and go, damn, this thing is hauling ass. I mean, who does not want a car like that? That's what you're going to get when you pop into the Lincoln Navigator. Go buy one today. Go for a test drive today at Landmark Lincoln in Englewood. Want to switch it up a little bit to CU as they're getting ready for their second game.
See you later, huh?
Well, it could be
see you
Delaware.
See
you later, Delaware.
Oh,
because that's their next opponent on Saturday. Deion Sanders says he's going to play both of his quarterbacks. Kaden Salter, JuJu Lewis against Delaware on Sunday. Is this more about, to you, a short leash for Salter, or he just wants to see what JuJu can do?
I think he just doesn't know what to do. I think he doesn't like
well, then maybe he shouldn't be coaching college football.
No, what I mean by
what
that
to do
is for the very first time in his coaching life, he's not coaching his son at quarterback.
Right.
Okay. Now he's got two kids who sure, he likes him. He brought him in, but does he really have that connection with him? Does he really believe in him? Does he really instill the sense of belief in them? Is there really that sense of destiny around these kids? No, they're competing with each other. Did Shedeur have any competition here at CU?
No.
Was there anyone brought in to push him and maybe make that decision hard? Absolutely not. These guys are competing, and he doesn't know who to put in. And in my mistake, waffling between the two, in my opinion, waffling between the two is a mistake. I've been on a team in college where you're like trying to figure out which quarterback you like, and one's playing one quarter and that's really hard for everyone else. Okay, to adjust to a different quarterback style mid-game. And then we're going back to the other guy because every quarterback's different. His cadence is different. The way he commands a huddle is different. What he does when the play breaks down is different. The quality of his ball is different. The way it comes at you through the air is different. Everything about a quarterback and his playing style is different. And so when you toggle back and forth between the two, to me, you're putting your team in a bind.
You can get away with that against Delaware. And Joe, by the way, if both play, I expect both of them to play well. They're playing Delaware. It's going to be a false.
What do you got against Delaware, man?
Nothing. It's just they're 24-point underdogs.
Is that all?
That's it.
Wow.
I think it's going to be a false positive on both of these quarterbacks because then they play Houston. To your point, when they start going in conference, then it becomes even a bigger problem. I'm going to take everything that you just said. Cadence, all of those things are different, but you also have basically a new offensive line as well. I called a friend of mine who played in the NFL for many, many years. And I asked him this question I'm about to ask you, which was, how difficult is it to play with two different quarterbacks in the same game? And he said, if they play the same style, it's probably not as big of a deal. If they don't play the same style, it is a big deal. And there is a different style between these two quarterbacks. You have Salter, who is a dual option guy, and then you have JuJu, who is far more like Shedeur Sanders. Not a great runner, doesn't really like to run, would rather stay in the pocket. So how much of a problem is that going to be for the offensive line, adding on to everything that you just said?
Yeah, not just the offensive line, but the play caller, Pat Shurmur, right? And he doesn't, I mean, he's got a pretty good resume as far as places he's been and teams he's worked for, but the success could be questioned, right? At those places.
His resume is marginal at best.
He's had jobs, put it that way.
Yes, he has.
He's worked a lot in this business.
And this
he's got
could
a lot
be
of
his
knowledge.
last one if Deion decides to fire him, because already in the stands at CU last Friday, it was get rid of Pat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Between bong loads, right? In the stadium.
Well, as Deion,
I know I heard Coach Prime talking about the second quarter.
Right, where people tend to light up.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you were passing the bong around.
Oh, I was right in the middle of that.
Well,
I had the gas mask.
Well, for pain management.
Yeah.
That's it.
It's actually it's not weed. It's called cannabis. So it's when it's cannabis, it's healthy.
Yeah.
When it's weed, it's not. You don't smoke weed, you consume cannabis. And so it's completely health related.
Oh, so are you saying that when you played, you were strictly cannabis, not the fun stuff that goes with it?
No, I had no enjoyment out of it at all. It was awful. I actually hated it.
Really?
No.
But you knew every Dorito brand out there.
See, I'm not a big munchies guy.
No?
I mean, no.
You never got
I have
hungry?
self-control. I get hungry when I'm not smoking weed. I mean, what are we talking about here?
Apparently, we shouldn't be talking about this much longer. But
listen, I would say this about play calling for two different style quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Because then there's an inconsistency with the kind of the rhythm of the game that you're trying to get in the rhythm of game.
Right.
You're trying to call plays based on what you guys do well, but also what the defense is not doing well that game.
Right.
And so if you're trying to cater your play calling for a new quarterback coming in each time, are you really paying attention to the defense?
Right.
Or are you doing what you think this quarterback's going to like doing because of so it really creates, I think, a block there for the play caller when he's trying to focus on what is the defense doing here today?
Right.
What plays of ours are going to work? Oh, is it going to work for Kaden? No, it's going to work for JuJu.
Right.
So like that, I think that, okay, Delaware, let's try it. But if I was a player on that offense, I would say, hey, pick a guy and let's just go with that guy.
Right. All right. I want to get back to the Broncos for a second.
Yeah.
So I believe it was NFL Network. They pulled 29 of their writers and they asked them to vote on a lot of different things. Who's going to win the division? Who's going to be the MVP? So on and so forth. The Broncos got 8 of 29 votes to win the division, which shows a little respect for what they think the Broncos are going to do.
Relative to the other?
Relative to the Chiefs, who got 20 of those votes.
Yeah.
But I want to go down to, are you a sports gambler at all?
No.
Do you like to every once in a while? Do you have like an app that
I don't have an app?
Okay. With that, let's just say you were a gambler, just for the sake of argument. Bo Nix got a single vote by those voters for MVP. This guy believes Bo Nix will win the MVP.
He's a Bo lever.
He is definitely.
Bo.
Well done. That was very clever. Did you just think about that? We should make a bumper sticker that says Bo lever.
Well, give me a boner thinking about it. Was that better? Are you okay, man?
You had to take it down to that level, didn't you?
Yeah.
If somebody gave you $250 and they said to you, you could pocket that money or you can use that money to bet on Nix to win the MVP award at roughly 35-1 odds, what would you do with the money? Would you pocket it? Or because it's free money, would you put all $250 on Nix with those odds?
Let's let it ride, Eric.
Is that what you would do?
Sure. If it was under that stipulation and it was like, hey, I really think, the conversation was about Bo Nix and yeah, sure, let's do it. I think it's very unlikely, of course, 35-1.
What if it was 500?
Probably.
Would you pocket it or bet it?
Probably pocket it.
What number would make you think on what to do?
I don't know.
1,000? Somebody gave you $1,000. You can pocket it.
Yeah.
Or you can bet it on Bo Nix at 35-1 odds.
I'd probably just keep the $1,000, Eric.
There we go. So there's your line of demarcation right there.
Yeah, demarcation.
How do you think this game is going to unfold on Sunday?
Just like an origami goose.
An origami goose.
Yeah. Very.
What the hell does that mean?
Well, unfolded, right?
Okay.
Unfolded. Origami is when you fold paper. I was making an origami joke.
You're talking way over my head for a guy who didn't do well on the verbal part of the SATs.
You know what origami is?
I do.
Okay. I think this game is going to.
Thank you for
I think this game is going to unfold a little bit differently than many in Broncos country will hope. I think the hope is that the Broncos are going to come out, firing on all cylinders and score 45 points and blank the Titans. I think it's going to be closer than that. I think the Broncos are going to win the game, but I also think that it's going to be a battle for them, especially in the first half. I think the first half is going to be a little slow start for the Broncos offense. I think the Broncos defense will have no trouble keeping this game low scoring, especially in the first half. I wouldn't be surprised if we go into halftime 7-3, something like that. And there's some groans and at least some antsiness, but I think the Broncos will have a nice halftime adjustment, or at least a halftime meeting to understand what they got to do.
I'm glad you corrected yourself
Because
by
there's not a
saying
lot
that.
of adjusting.
Bingo.
Yeah.
That's where I was going to go. Yeah. I mean,
It's not like you're going to put in a whole new game plan at halftime. You know what I mean? Like, you want to do the things you do well. And that's what, in my opinion, and we talked about this on Monday, Eric, the Broncos on offense, keep it simple. Keep it simple, okay? Go pin your ears back and attack. You're better than them. You don't need to get cute and tricky. Keep your game plan simple. Give it to your best guys and let them run with it. Let your offensive line pin their ears back and attack off the line of scrimmage. That means establishing the line of scrimmage and the run game early, okay? Don't get cute. And conversely, with the defense, get cute. Confuse the hell out of Cam Ward. Right? Do a lot of rotational stuff, a little masking what you're going to do. Put 7 guys on the line of scrimmage and drop 3 of them back and have them rush 4. Things like that to confuse the young quarterback. But for your offense, don't make it complicated. Let these guys go play.
Final score.
24-13. Broncos.
Well, you clearly changed your mind over the last 3 days. Yeah. And here's the reason why. Because I asked you on Monday.
What did I say, 24-17? Okay, it was close.
No, that's not my point. My point is the spread was 8.
Oh.
And you said there's no way I would take the Broncos and give the points.
I didn't say no way. I said I think
it'll be
closer.
Wouldn't.
You know, now I'm thinking, it's going to be close in the first half. Broncos will pull away a little bit in the second half. That's what I think.
What changed in the last few days for you?
Have you ever had an opinion change after you thought about something more?
Never.
Yeah, that's why you wear that jacket. Excuse me.
I would like to see you dress up every once in a while for the show.
I'm wearing a polo shirt, man.
Yes, sure. And you look dashing. I was going to say 24-13 as well.
Oh.
24-10,
yeah.
27-13. I think it's a double-digit win for this team.
Yeah.
So simply for the fact that they are playing against a rookie quarterback. I'll be curious to see how they run the ball. I want to see how this outside zone looks.
Yeah.
I don't know if I wonder if they're going to put RJ Harvey in a lot of situations.
Yeah.
Hopefully not in pass blocking. I'll be curious to see if Tyler Bidet plays much.
Yeah, I wouldn't think the rookies are going to have a huge role in this game. I mean, that's not really Sean Payton's MO, is to really prop up the rookies early in the season. He likes to let them kind of ease into being heavily involved in a game plan or a game. And I think that's a smart move. I think that's the way to do it. This is a different level of football they're about to see. If you're like, RJ, this is your game, this is your moment, this is your break, then that's too much.
Right.
Every game is too important to put it in the hands of a rookie, because you're going to look back on each one of these games. And if you let one get away because you gave a rookie too much responsibility or hoped he was going to win it for you, instead of the guys who know and are ready for this, then that's a mistake to be made.
You cannot win a Super Bowl in September, but you can certainly lose one. And I always get a chuckle, and probably rightfully so, from players when this question is asked. But remember, don't try and pawn yourself off now as not being a member of the media, and you want to criticize media even though you're a part of the media.
Yeah.
Because the Broncos certainly believe they have Super Bowl aspirations, unlike probably 25 other teams in the league that think they do, but no, they really don't. Is Sunday's game a must win?
No, it's not. It's not. You want to win it. You got 17 of these things. Sometimes the best thing you can do is lose a game you're supposed to win.
Really?
Yeah.
There's good in losing, there is?
Of course. Because
so you can learn a lesson?
Of course. You learn more from losing than you do from winning, Eric.
If you lose a game, you're one step away from making the playoffs. You're one less step away. Because if 10-11 wins,
Broncos made the playoffs last year and they lost their first 2 games.
I understand that. But if you lose a game that you're supposed to win, then you have to win a game
you're supposed to lose. See, that's where I don't follow this line of media reasoning.
You got to make it up somewhere, don't you?
Because every opponent is a beatable opponent. I don't look at any. See, this is the thing that you media folks do, right?
Yeah.
You look at a schedule and you're like, that's a win, that's a loss, that's a win, that's a loss. No,
that's actually not what I do.
To me, every game is a winnable game if you're playing well. And the Broncos, if they come out and don't play well and get punched in the mouth and lose this game, then they learn a whole hell of a lot about what it takes to win and what they did wrong. And then they can apply that going forward and steal the games that you media folks think they should lose, like the one to the Bengals or the one to the freaking Chiefs or the Chargers or whatever games you think they're going to have a hard time.
Are you doing this show for free?
No.
Then you're a professional member of the media.
Hey,
embrace it.
I am.
And I use
But it's also important that I point out some of the things that I don't think are constructive or positive that the media does. So I'll say we, then. But the things that we do in the media of saying this is a winnable game and this one is not, I think that's wrong-headed. And when you're inside a locker room, you don't look at games like that. And so sometimes it's the best thing to lose a game you're supposed to win when it's early in season, because it allows you to tighten up those screws and figure out where you went wrong and set the sails in the right course.
Okay.
I just don't think you think it's a must win.
I think.
What is a must win anyway?
Well, a must win is usually more later in the season.
What does must win mean?
A game. I mean, what does a must win mean?
Because that term's thrown around a lot. But what does it actually mean?
Don't blow an opportunity that's in front of you when you should win.
Okay. That's very vague to me. What opportunity?
They need to win every game.
Okay.
Every game
is a must win.
Every game is a must win.
Now you're speaking my language.
But when you have an inferior opponent and you lose it, you blew it. You blew it. You completely blew it. And generally speaking, when they're going into this game on Sunday, this is a game they should win, and this is an opportunity to get a check in the win column. If 10 or 11 wins is going to get you a division title, then you better win this one.
They're approaching it that way. They plan to win.
They're
prepared to win. We expect them to win. You asked me if it was a must win. It's not, in my opinion, because a lot can be learned from a loss like that, and there's 16 more games after that. Because
you can lose 17 games in a row. You've learned a lot that season, haven't you?
Correct, you have.
Yeah,
you learned that you probably got to fire everybody on the team, right? But there's some teams that everyone thinks are going to be really tough that aren't. They're not going to be good this year. And the Tennessee Titans, who everyone thinks is going to suck, could end up being a decent team. We don't know that yet. The season's going to unfold. And so the check mark on the wins and the losses in this team and that team is going to be, I don't really like to play that game that you media folks like to play.
Well, Sean Payton's playing because he talks about getting off to a fast start, doesn't he?
That has nothing to do with what we're talking about. The fast start is what every coach wants. The fast start means you're winning football games. Of course you want to do that.
Yeah, but that's something that Sean Payton hasn't done his last 2 years.
And that's something he's got to figure out. And that's why he's puckered up pretty tight right now.
Again, to me, it's like baseball. Outside of the Rockies, you win 60, lose 60. What do you do in those other 42?
Yeah.
This is not one of those 42 games for the Denver Broncos. This needs to be chalked up. This is one of those games you must win on your win column, not one of the 42. Because are you really expecting to beat the Eagles? You hope you do.
Yeah, you are expecting to beat the Eagles.
You're expecting to beat every team that you play.
Right.
I understand. But some teams are tougher than others.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you don't know if the Eagles are going to have a Super Bowl hangover and actually going to be sucking this first week or this first month.
Well, we'll see what they do tonight.
That's going to be fun.
Right?
Yeah.
All right. With that, that's going to do it for us. He's Nate. I'm Eric. Thanks for joining us again. Monday, we will see you at 11 a.m.
Later.